Hey everybody, I'm Jimmy Fallon. Take a look around. Businesses are fighting for your attention.
Got milk.
Keep going and going.
Iconic commercials are everywhere. But now, marketing is a part of pop culture. Whether it's promoting ourselves on social media,
The full fit is TikTok shop.
or sharing ads with friends, one brilliant campaign can connect millions of people and translate to millions in profits.
I think we can get good money for that.
So to cut through the noise, brands need bigger and louder ideas than ever before.
Okay, perfect. Welcome, Dr. Wegman. Now, I don't necessarily enjoy doing these videos, but from what I understand, today's social media managers and web developers, they can make these videos on the fly, especially when it comes to the proposal. I hope in the future this is something you and I can both laugh at, remembering the beginning of Exeter Local Grow. Now, I don't know if this is the name I'm going to stick with, but we just need to get the ball rolling. There's no way I can expect to own a marketing agency and not encourage my own clients to understand what that digital aspect really means. I don't want to overcomplicate this video. I don't want to do too much. I'm going to try and keep it under 10 minutes. I simply just want to go over a little bit of the deliverables I had mentioned in the proposal if you had the chance to look over it, and a little bit of what we talked about the other day. But before I move on, I really just want to say thank you for considering this upgrade. Even though we're still just in the beginning stages, I really do appreciate you giving this opportunity to me rather than some big marketing agency. I feel like I've been annoying you, giving you information overload, but being truthful, I would rather you be annoyed with me for having too much information than not any at all. But that being said, I do want to go over a little bit of what I had in this proposal. Now, like I mentioned, I know nothing's set in stone, but I just wanted to give you the opportunity to look at this proposal from a different alternative or lens, I guess you could say. So, starting from top to bottom on those deliverables, we're going to go ahead and look at that website redesign. I showed you a little bit of this video I made the other day. I don't know if you remember, this was just the one time I had come in and taken those pictures. So maybe about less than 10, 20 pictures. I know it's nothing too crazy, but I just wanted to give you an overall view of the creativity we've got to work with. I mean, realistically, in the future, I'd love to stretch it out with some possible drone shots outside, just depending on whatever it is you're feeling. Now, I do ask that we keep in mind that we remember that these are all just mock-ups. I put together a few of these Wegman Dental Group logos. I'll be sure to include those in our meeting next week if you're curious to see some of those mock-ups. Getting back to the overall upgrade, as you can see, we've got a home, services, meet the team, patient info, schedule now, or contact us option. Also, you can see some of the social quick links with Facebook and Insta. I apologize, I transitioned over. Now, I know the other day we shared some skepticism about the book now option, and I did say I would look into it. And I am pleased to say that the information I found, I think you'll be glad to hear, and I'll share more about it in the future. But I bring that up again to just put it in our minds because I do feel that there's a lot of money left to be made on the table. I don't remember if I showed you the statistics the other day, but that self-scheduling option can actually boost appointment bookings by almost 156%. Now, I know we had shared some concerns about it overlapping, but I learned that we wouldn't necessarily have to have those fears. Even though customers can have the option to book now, it still does have to be confirmed or approved through the Wegman Dental office, which I think could help avoid any future roadblocks or headaches. Getting back to the website design, we went over the video, some of the services up top and the logos, that login option potentially for just your staff so they can go in and see any future updates you may have, scheduling or things of the sorts. But as of right now, remembering that SEO or search engine optimization is one of the main goals of this website redesign. So we're going to point out Exeter and Reading because those are going to be things we want to use to boost within the search engine. We've got these patient reviews right here just so these are actually recent. I don't know if we got the chance to actually look at these the other day, but this is actually perfect for what it is we're wanting to do if we want to move up on those rankings. We went a little bit over those services. I know you don't offer aligners, and we did talk about getting new pictures and removing the face mask, but here's an overall look of what that bio would look like, just creating a little bit more trustability. Like we said, 94% of first impressions for healthcare sites are based on design and usability. So even though this is just a mock-up right now, our main goal is just creating a design that's user-friendly, showing them who we are, meeting the team, including some frequently asked questions, and at the bottom we include a contact form. But for now, we'll move up to the social media setup and branding aspect of the deliverables. Now, I believe this is mentioned in the project summary, but upon approval of the proposal, you'll receive an email to set up a meeting where next week we'll be going over trying to map out some of our goals for this social media style. Preparation of what this meeting is going to entail. We're going to go over a little bit of the channel and its purpose and the social channels we intend on using at this moment. Our tone and voice, just so that way that never gets lost. We just want to make sure we're always representing Wegman Dental Group to the fullest extent. We're going to talk about the difference between community platforms like Facebook and X versus visual platforms like Instagram and TikTok. By the time we get to this meeting, we should have several sample mock-ups of which direction we're going to take the Facebook and the Instagram. We're going to talk a little bit about the branded profile images, the cover photos and the bio descriptions, the highlight covers and post templates, the integration of website links and contact buttons, cross-platform posting setup, and hashtag research. You can expect all of these visuals plus a few potential styles by our first meeting next week. Moving on to the third aspect in our deliverables, the content and calendar strategy. This isn't necessarily the template I'm going to use, but this is just to give you an overall idea of what you can expect either monthly or weekly based on your preference. We're going to find that out in the future, just like with this video. But with this content calendar and strategy, it's going to include a 30-day content plan tailored for dental services. It's going to be a mix of promotional, educational, community-based posts, weekly themed and CTA-driven captions. That means call to action buttons. Essentially, we just want to drive engagement. That's our goal. Recommendations for post timing based on audience analytics, and a monthly analytics summary with a performance report. And these are just to give you a overall idea of what those content calendars would look like and what you could possibly expect moving forward. Now, for the ad campaign setup and management, this is going to come with the creation of 2 to 3 high-performing ad creatives, just because these things can get a bit expensive, but I'll be able to show you in the future how those results equal out. We're going to be targeting setup for local demographics, just because, like I mentioned the other day, we want to make sure we're focusing on quality patients, not just the number of patients that view our site or our post. And we're also going to be sure to include a bi-weekly performance report and optimization. Now, I know you might be asking why the ad campaign setup might be necessary. We're already going to be spending a little bit of ad revenue on the Google search engine, just because we're wanting to get our name to appear. So I have allocated a little bit in the budget for us to spend on the Instagram and Facebook platforms that should give us the boost we need to create the engagement in the beginning. But I'll get to speak on that a little more in the future. Now, moving on to the client portal access part of the deliverables. I know the other day I texted you about how I was pivoting from the customer management relationship. And I don't know if you're necessarily familiar with that term, but especially in the beginning, I don't want to give the impression or make you believe that I'm not taking this seriously. And I truthfully don't want to miss anything. So this is an overall view of how it would look on my end. The refreshing the brand identity, the website redesign, and just keeping track of all those projects. I'll be able to view any outstanding task. I'll be able to send you messages or see any messages you possibly may have sent me. Now, moving on to this part of the dashboard, this is what your login would look like upon approval. I'll be sure to include instructions on how to get you set up with this next week, just so in the future it makes things a lot easier and you can keep track of my progress, because I want to make sure that your return on I want to make sure that your return on investment is at least worth it for this, and that we're sticking to that timeline. Because at the end of the day, if we're not bringing patients in, you've just wasted your money, and that is not something I'm acceptable with. But this is just to give you an overall view of what that client portal is going to look like. We're going to be able to view project progress, deliverables, and assets. It's going to have a commenting system for feedback on website drafts or post designs. We're going to be able to access billing history, content calendars, and reports, and future integration for file sharing and milestone approvals. Right now, it may not be much, but hopefully in the future, after we've adapted our system together a little bit more, you'll be able to see why I believe this is a high priority program. Now, wrapping things up on the deliverables side of things, the 1-hour strategy call before launch to align all messaging, the SEO optimized Google business profile audit. Now, if you have any questions about the bonus value section of the deliverables content, just feel free to shoot me a text or an email, and I'll promise I'll be happy to answer whatever questions you may have. But I did want you to see this because you are my first project, and we did talk about that the other day. I'm very grateful for this opportunity. As one of my first full-service clients, Wegman Dental receives unlimited website and content revisions during the active project phase. If anything breaks, needs tweaking, or doesn't look quite right, you'll have direct access to me for same-day fixes with a 24 to 48-hour turnaround guarantee. Now, I know this may sound like the bare minimum, but I've heard that this may not be something you offer to all clients. So I just wanted to be sure to emphasize that you knew, regardless of what may be happening for the next 2-3 months, if you need me, regardless of the time of the day, text or call me and I'll be sure you are full priority. Won't waste your time going over the implementation table or the timeline or the project timeline. I believe it's all pretty self-explanatory. If you have, like I said, if you have any questions, feel free to reach out. I'm happy to answer. And now, as we gear towards the end, talking about the invoice, I tried my hardest to lay everything out in great detail. I do apologize. I know I had said that I was working on getting the online payment system set up, but it seems like it's going to be a headache. So it would be super helpful if we could either write a check out to Kevin Feliciano, or if you're more comfortable with a Cash App / Venmo type of transaction, whatever you prefer. The total project investment of $5,000 could be split into 2 payments of $2,500 each. I do apologize if that seems like a bit much, but from what I understand, other agencies are charging a pretty penny. The first payment of $2,500 serves as the project deposit and covers initial design, planning, and setup expenses. This payment it says it's due by October 27th, but you just let me know whenever you feel would work best for you. Being honest, my trials have come to an end, so it would make things a bit more difficult. I would love to get started. And last but not least, the next steps portion of the proposal, where we'll talk about the approval, kickoff meeting, and execution. Now, like I mentioned, my trials have come to an end. So once the proposal is approved and the initial deposit is received, the project timeline can be locked in and prep work will begin immediately. This step ensures all assets, logins, and materials are ready before the design phase starts. And then from there, we'll transition to the kickoff meeting, where after approval, you'll receive an email with a link to schedule your kickoff meeting at a time that works best for you. During this call, we'll confirm your brand goals, review initial design direction, and outline the first week's deliverables so everything stays on track. And from there, we'll transition to the execution, where we launch campaigns and track results. Following the kickoff, I'll begin design and content development based on the agreed roadmap. You'll receive regular process updates, have access to previews for feedback, and enjoy 24 to 48 hour turnaround on any requested changes. Again, Dr. Wegman, I really do appreciate this opportunity. I apologize if it has been information overload. Like I said, I would rather give you too much than not enough. If you do decide you've changed your mind and you don't think you need any of this, I promise I do understand. I appreciate you even giving me the opportunity to persuade you.